Welcome back on this glorious and amazing day. So nice that you join me yet again as we continue this series of love and how complex it really is till you could find out and establish and understand the meaning of love as a verb, as an action that changes the entire structure of a relationship of marriage. So let's continue on where we left off last week, where I'm sitting there and I'm so excited and so connected to something so small because I was the one that invested in it. And I can't help but to share with you this story that just popped in, a very fascinating story that happened over 30 years ago, give or take. Fascinating story. I might have mentioned it once before, but it's worth repeating because this is what love is all about. Will help you to understand how to navigate your marriage, your relationship, and with your kids as well. Where I used to have a tutoring sessions with children after school, and my style was very different. It wasn't to help the children that weren't doing well. My philosophy with them is, you're coming to me and I know you are good, and I would basically had a whole system every child to reward them. I made my own dollars, and the walls around my tutoring room was filled with prizes, and there was a number on each one of them of how many dollars they're worth it. And they would get points. Every point is a penny, and if you got 100 points, you got $1. And then, to make the long story short, and this kid was so excited always to come to my house once or twice a week, and he would get tested on the stuff he did in school, and the only thing that he got was filled with compliments. And I always focused on the strength of the child, the strength of the child's brain versus their weakness. Because sometimes, like we spoke about in other series, and I forgot which one, that many times, maybe more than sometimes, tutoring is counterproductive in the long run because it reinforces that the child has a major problem. I'm not here to sugarcoat stuff. I'm not here to tell the child that they're great when they're not great. But I'm a very big believer that if the child has 7 subjects and not good in 2, leave that alone and keep on lifting up the child in the other 5 subjects, and sort of we'll work out the other 2, which I won't explain how now. But we put so much emphasis on the 2 subjects that the child is not doing well, and perhaps you even want to use the dirty word called failing, that the child even starts doubting the other few subjects that they're doing well, but that's a separate topic. To make the long story short, this child was so motivated. What a sweet angel he was. He was about 9 or 10. And finally, he collected his 700 points, and he was able to get his little tiny Lego set. It had, 25, 30 pieces. It was like a little car, little tiny box. And this kid was so happy. A few weeks later, I meet his father in the synagogue, and the father comes to me with his face beaming, at the same time confusion, and he tells me, I have a question. I have no clue what's going on. Something is so strange. Could you please explain it to me? I go, please go ahead. And this is a man that had lots of money, to put it bluntly. And he got his children whatever they wanted. And he always got them a lot of stuff. And they did a lot of stuff that most families and most children do not do. And he was very open to me. He says, I got my child once, I don't know, I can't remember the price, maybe 300, 3,000. I think it was one of the biggest Lego sets that ever exists. It's like a whole city. And he tells me, I got my child this huge Lego set, and he was a little bit excited. He opened the box, it was typical excitement. Something so strange. A few weeks ago, he comes from tutoring from your house, and he has this little tiny box with a few pieces of Lego, and he's jumping, and he's so excited, and he's so happy, and he's on a different planet. And I thought, as a businessman, this must be gold. This must be a winning lottery ticket. I had no clue. And I asked him, what is it? He says, Daddy, don't you see? It's Lego. Looks at me. What's going on? And I smile, and I say, very simple. Daddy, he worked for it. That's love. How does it connect here? Because that's love. When I work for something and I put my soul in it, I love it. So because I didn't really work for that gift, it could be a 3,000 piece Lego or 4,000, whatever it was. Yes, it's exciting. It's not it. When you go into marriage as good feelings and good vibes, yes, it will be very romantic. It will be very beautiful. But you're there to take, to receive, to complete a lot of unfinished business from your childhood, from your father, your mother. It evaporates. Worse than evaporating. It's worse. We're very, very hurt. When you start investing, very different than my analogy. I think my analogy wasn't the best. It's not only you get interest, but the entire account becomes your account. It becomes so special, and that's why when I could sit the back of the house and look at a value of 270,000 versus a value of 1,700, I'm okay to replace that $300,000 house, but I'm not okay. Why? Because I put my soul in. If you invest in your spouse, yes, what she wants, you will love her not because you're receiving something, because you love yourself by nature. More of you, of your spirit, will be inside of her, will be inside of him. And therefore you'll love them not because they're giving you, because you're connecting even to yourself. It's almost like you're extending yourself with another human. And that's what makes love. It's a win-win situation. So when you do what the other person likes, now that I'm talking, it's becoming so clear. It's almost like short-term pain for long-term gain, but it's not really painful to help someone. But basically, you're not getting something in the immediate, but it's an investment. You keep on putting into someone and keep on giving them, and basically you're building yourself. When you invest into someone else, you have yourself in them, and therefore parents will always tell you that the child that challenged them the most, at the end of the day in their adult life, they actually have a deeper connection to that child, not because they have mercy and pity and the person's a nebuch. It's because they invested so much of themselves. Rather, the child that was easygoing and just did everything right and was very strange, a weird child, did their homework on their own, never had to remind them, keep their bedroom clean, did not fight with their siblings. I would call 911. That sounds scary. Yeah, but if miraculously you had such a child, you won't have that connection because there's not too much of you within that child. If you want the love to grow like the shape of the V, which is a verb to continue to expand, the more you give, the more you love, because the more of you is in that human being. Thanks for listening, and we could be even wrap up next week within this situation, or maybe not. I don't know, because I record as I go, because I just let my soul just talk, go, flow through my mouth. I just don't get into the way and things flow. So I don't know. I was going to say I'm going to wrap up, but my gut tells me there'll be much more, and I don't even know what it is. But we'll find out next week or the following week. Till then, always do remember that you are way greater than you think you are, even though you might not agree with it and you don't feel it. But only because I feel right now is night, and only because right now I feel that there's snow all around me, that doesn't mean that it is so, because there's water around me with trees and glorious weather. Have an awesome day.